welcome to one more episode of Builder Nation. For today's agenda, we have Jack Wu, co-founder and CEO of Nightingale, the company taking robotic aerial security to the next level.
My name is Jack Wu. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Nightingale Security. Our company's mission is to automate the world of physical security. We are a robotics company. Our first platform is a security drone. It's an automated system with a drone and a base station. Basically, some of them are being called drone in a box solution. So the drone lands in the base station, charges itself, able to perform missions by itself. It's an edge-based computing system. So all the data we collect is at the edge. So we can be completely air-gapped and still be able to operate. We have multiple industrial, commercial, defense, and emergency response customers. We've been around for about 8 years.
Were you always interested in robotics, or how did your passion begin?
Yeah, so when I was a kid, well, first of all, my background is internet software, UI, UX. So I've always liked robots since I was a kid, and I'm a big fan of military history. So I've always been fascinated by defense. After I had my stint with the internet, I started my career with a bunch of startups. Also worked for some very large internet companies. I started my own business. First went into gaming. That's where I was first exposed to gamification. Also tracking user behaviors, anomaly detections. So a lot of that is actually very applicable in robotics as well, in terms of training the robot or the drone how to behave a certain way in order to perform a specific task. So I sort of combined my passion for military hardware, military history, with the software background. And I enlisted my co-founder, John, who is one of the first engineers at, I think it's like the first 20th engineer at SpaceX.
How hard it was, because there's like a couple of years now since you founded the company. And do you feel like there's a lot of change in the industry since you started?
Yeah. I mean, hopefully, because change is change in a technology industry that is nascent in its early stage is mostly a good thing, because change is usually due to us selecting the right technology, coming up with the right solution. So our product today is the culmination of innovation, trial and error, lessons learned, and customer feedback, which is really important. In the last few years, we've gathered a lot of customer feedback, and we compare that with our own hypothesis in terms of how the product should be used, the product roadmap, what does that look like compared to customer feedback. Fortunately, our vision aligns very well with that of the customers, but we don't know the problem of physical security as well as the end user. So we listen to them, they give us feedback, and we incorporate those feedback into product development to be able to get a fine-tuned product for them. Because the product always starts off as a minimum viable product, and then it matures. And we're at a level where we're TRL, technology readiness level 9. So we're at the highest level now. The product is ready to ship. It's been operating at multiple customers' locations for years. So we have multi-year customers already. Together, we have tens and thousands of hours of operational experience.
It is really interesting everything you're saying, especially the fact that you accept how important it is the feedback. Because at the end of the day,
yes.
Your clients are your clients, and that's how the business works, right? But I wanted to ask you, now that you're mentioning, how many prototypes did you start the company with? Or how many prototypes have you guys built in order to to have what you have right now?
Yeah, so like any new technology, we believe in evolution. Evolution meaning that you need to evolve the hardware and the software to a state that is stable, reliable, and commercially viable. Mm-hmm. Our philosophy is always to focus on one platform. So we started off with the intent of creating only one product. Mm-hmm. And that is true still today. It may not be tomorrow. We may not, just have one platform. But until we've perfected this platform, until we've truly satisfied the needs of our customers, we're going to continue just to have one product, one airframe, one drone, one base station, single application of physical security. Because one of my favorite aircraft is the A-10 Warthog. It's an aircraft that's been around since the 70s, but is still in service today because no one can do its mission better than that airframe. It still does its mission better than anything else out there. So you can't just have new technologies because new technologies might be too expensive. New technologies might not be reliable. So you can't roll out a successful product unless you can bring the cost down to the point where it's commercially viable. And then there's maturity. Does it work all the time? You can't introduce a new technology that only works sometimes. Imagine if your car only starts sometimes. People would not be driving. They would do something else, right? Because it's not reliable, right? So robotics is at a phase where certain platforms like drones have been around for over a decade now. Mm-hmm. And humans know how to fly. We've been flying for more than a century. So the platform itself to make something fly is really not a mystery. So that removes some of the technical risks and allow us to focus on other challenges, other technical challenges other than flying. Like how do we make it more intelligent, for instance? How do we make it so we can integrate with perimeter sensors so we can automatically respond to the threats? Make it more useful, not make it more complicated. Complexity doesn't necessarily equal quality. And also to focus on one single platform, allow us to be able to have a platform that's highly reliable and rugged because of the experience that we've gotten from our customers in terms of feedback and operating in areas that are like minus 15 Fahrenheit all the way up to 125 degree Fahrenheit.
I'm shocked about how you have everything like settled, if we can put it like that, like you believe in your product, you know what it's worth, you know how it works, you know what's, my next question was about like, what will you say it's your key differentiator from other companies in the industry? Yeah. And I think you just said it, simplicity is the key, right?
Yeah. I think a lot of folks in the robotic industry want to show how smart they are by developing platforms that are very complex, and they like to demonstrate it at conferences, maybe in their PhD dissertations. Look how smart this thing is. It is easy to make something work a few times at a lab or at a conference where the environment is completely ideal, right? Where you have control over everything. It is very difficult to make something that works all the time under a variety of operational environments. But it is something that eventually, other vendors will get there as well. It's just that we decided to focus our efforts on making sure that the product does its job by meeting customer expectation and exceeding some of the performance index that they're looking for. That's number one. That's really the baseline. So our goal is to utilize the drone to rapidly respond to these threats, to do it faster, and to do it cheaper. We can respond for pennies at a time. Whereas if you hire, a human guard or install a lot of cameras, you're going to have to trench, meaning you have to add power and network. So the main cost is not just the camera, it is also the cost of networking the cameras, providing power to the cameras. So our job is to look at the gaps in their physical security, especially for these large areas, and become the camera on demand. We are the camera anytime, anywhere, and we can respond to threats, doing it cheaper, better, and faster So the drone's job is to respond, to utilize its superior mobility to be able to respond and be able to provide a live video feed and be able to essentially have situational awareness in areas that was previously unable to have situational awareness because there's no cameras or the guards simply don't patrol the area.
If you could talk a little bit more about your commercial applications, because I saw on the website that you guys, I mean, you're specialized somehow with border patrol and prison. So how has your experience been with each one of those?
We actually do more commercial perimeter patrol rather than border patrol. So we do a lot of commercial perimeter patrols with petrochemical companies, with data centers, with other critical infrastructures. So critical infrastructure is really what we focus on because they have multiple reasons to have this level of security. Not just very often these critical infrastructures are, have cover large areas. They also have very valuable assets. So that's where the drones come in. So the drones will play a role around the perimeter. We can be the first line of defense by detecting them at the perimeter. We could also be the first responder because we can get there faster. And then we also work with VMS, video management system, by taking our video feed and integrating it into the VMS so the customer can easily see us simply as another camera. Except this camera can see in the dark because we have thermal. This camera can fly to where you want to go and be able to broadcast that video, not just to the VMS, but through our application to anybody who's even off campus, not at the facility. They'll also be able to see the video as well.
You make it sound so natural and super, it sounds like you're super used to it, of course. But I mean, hearing from the outside, it's really interesting everything that you're sharing in the commercial applications and how it can improve safety at the end of the day.
Well, I mean, we improve safety at construction sites by reducing construction theft. Wherever you have construction material, you're going to have theft. And that theft, if you're lucky, is just the material. If you're unlucky, literally it slows down your progress. So we do several things. When it comes to construction sites, we'll patrol the area to provide security, but we'll also monitor the construction by pre-scheduled missions. So we'll fly a mission early in the morning before the work starts, so you can see the state of the work from yesterday. And then we fly another mission in late afternoon when all the construction workers are gone, so we can see how much progress has been made.
Now that you mentioned the actual drone, I wanted to ask you, like, is it fully automated, or where is the video stored, or how long do the drones fly? Is there like a specific time, a specific limit or something?
Yeah, so I'll answer in backwards. So it flies currently for 30 minutes, but we have a program called Maintenance, Repair, and Upgrade, MRU. So all our customers actually get upgraded as part of the contract for free. So basically, we will send them a new drone for if we need to maintain the old drone, and they just keep the new drone. Or we send them a new drone that's upgraded. Our new drone will fly for 45 minutes. In terms of the, I think you asked for
video storage.
Video storage, yes, thank you. Video storage, as I said before, we are an edge-based computing platform, which means that all the data that we collect actually gets stored on the base station behind me. So you can see from the background, that's the base station. The drone is on top of it. The drone actually streams the video through the base station. So the base station, the drone has a 4K camera. It streams in HD, but it stores in 4K as well. So you'll get the 4K video, HD video, and the thermal video all stored right in the base station itself. We do not, I repeat, we do not need the cloud in order to function. The software, the command and control software, is also inside the base station. So you can just completely air gap the base station and have nothing else connected to it, and it will still work. Yeah, as long as you have a local network, you're good.
Impressive. And
Thank
what
you.
about the automation? Does it need any kind of human direction?
Well, humans should be in a loop at this stage, mainly due to regulations. But the technology itself is capable of pre-scheduled patrols. So basically, you can schedule it and tell it where to go, how to fly, where to fly, and what to look at. And the drone will automatically do that for you. The drone takes off automatically, patrols automatically, lands automatically. But the human can be in the loop by interrupting the mission anytime they want. So its automation level is really to just take over the repetitive tasks. Because what's the purpose of a robot, right? The purpose of a robot is to reduce human workload and to make operations more efficient. Really that simple. To reduce human workload, well, we take over the repetitive tasks. Tasks like takeoff and landing is the same every time. Don't have the human do that. Have the robot do that. Tasks like patrolling the perimeter all the time, have the robot do that. It's repetitive. Anything that's repetitive, potentially dangerous, is a good fit for a robot to take over. So our drone is the robot. We are a robotics company. We focus our efforts on automating that platform, making it smart, so security can be enhanced.
Talking about challenges, one of the last questions. I mean, you guys survived the pandemic. Did you have any critical challenges when it comes to the procurement, maybe in the hardware part or something?
I think the toughest part during the pandemic was that we couldn't get to our customer location because they wouldn't let us, they wouldn't let people in to be able to make installations. So that was the toughest part. But, other than that, it's, really pretty much, same supply chain issues that everybody else have. It was really bad earlier, the first half of the year. It's getting much better now. So we see that as something that is temporary. But there's one benefit that came out of this whole thing is one, during the pandemic, it allowed us to focus on testing and product improvement and start working on some of the features that we always wanted to work on, but we were too busy servicing customers. So we got to do that.
Options.
Yeah, so that was actually quite good. And then we were able to, when the supply chain issue happened, we started looking at alternatives to what we have. And by looking at alternatives, we were able to discover things that are actually better. They're not necessarily more available, but they're actually a better solution, a better component than the component that we used previously, because we started looking due to the supply chain interruption. So we basically look at it as, it's a speed bump, but it's also an opportunity to discover new roads as well.
Mentioning challenges, what would you say has the biggest technical challenge that you guys have managed to solve in these 8 years?
Reliability.
Totally.
Reliability. Yeah, if you want me to pick, because it's not sexy. Reliability is not sexy. Having somebody that you call all the time will answer the phone usually get people bored. But for a robot, that's what we expect of them. So when they don't do what we say anytime we want, that's a fail. So reliability, number one, is to be able to be always ready. So mission readiness is important. And reliability also leads to more efficiency. You can count on it. You can use it more often. So you can really, really maximize the benefit of this drone, maximize the benefit of it patrolling automatically and helping you save money on perimeter sensors and guards. And reliability also leads you to have the confidence to be able to say, hey, what else can this thing do, right? So the ability to develop additional applications on top of this platform, now it's a reality for us, finally. We have a yard management software that is currently running. We have other software that we're testing that might not be our software. We partner with third parties because we know that we're best at doing what we do and they're best at doing what they do. We don't want to reinvent the wheel. And we're also not greedy. We believe that this is a team sport. To be number one in the space, you need to work with others. You don't become number one by excluding others. So we want to be a team player. So we have a lot of software that we're currently integrating, a lot of perimeter sensors that we've already integrated, radar, cameras, kinetic sensors, you name it. So a lot of the challenges is just how to make things reliable so it's more useful and cost effective. When you make something reliable, it becomes cheaper. Why? Well, because you don't have to maintain it as much. If you cannot have a platform that is dependable, reliable, that works all the time, you have nothing. That's the basic mantra at our company. So
perfect. Thank you so much. And last but not least, the last question here. Do you have any advice for future entrepreneurs starting on this path?
Yeah, don't underestimate the capital necessary. Don't underestimate the edge cases, things you don't know, or things that don't happen very often. Understand that majority of your time and money is going to go towards making the platform viable if you want to deal with hardware. And understanding that robotics as a whole is really a combination of software and hardware. Both are equally important. And testing. Fail often and fail at home. If you don't fail at home, you'll fail at your customer's location. You will fail. The only choice you have is where do you want it to fail and how soon do you want to learn the lessons? There are no other choices, because if you don't get those problems today, trust me, those problems will find you tomorrow. So testing is extremely time consuming, money consuming, but at the same time, it's incredibly important.
Well, thank you so much, Jack, for sharing your experiences, for sharing your story. Do you have any social media handles? Where can people find you? Where can people follow you?
Just go to nightingalesecurity.com. That's our website. Yeah, okay. I'm not a big social media guy, so.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much. And remember, guys, that you can find more information, interesting articles, interesting interviews directly on our website, controlhub.com/builder-nation. We would love to hear from you. And once again, thank you so much, Jack, for being here, for taking the time. I highly appreciate it. And I'm pretty sure that our audience does as well.
Thank you so much for the opportunity.